I'm Marissa, 34. I'm sitting in my new, sunlit kitchen, unpacking a set of wine glasses I bought yesterday. These are beautiful, unnecessary things that I would never have allowed myself to own in my old life. As I arrange them carefully in the cabinet, a notification pops up on my phone. The high-tech gate camera shows my mother, her face streaked with tears, her hair wild in the spring wind, pressing the call box button repeatedly. "Marissa, please." Her voice cracks through the speaker system. "Your father, he's sick. We need you." A year ago, these words would have set me running for my car keys and checkbook. 6 months ago, I might have felt a twinge of doubt. But today, I feel nothing but a cold, clear resolve. I watch her performance for a few moments, the theatrical sobs, the smudged mascara, the conveniently vague emergency. It's all a lie. I remember how it all started. 2 weeks before Christmas, an anonymous email landed in my inbox. My phone buzzed on the scratched laminate of my kitchen counter. The subject line read, "They're using you." My finger hovered over the delete button, but something held me back. I opened the email to find a single video attachment. When I clicked play, the screen filled with my parents' living room, the house I was still paying the mortgage for. My father, Henry, was lounging in the leather recliner I'd bought him last Father's Day. My mother, Victoria, was perched on the arm of the sofa, a glass of wine in her hand. And there was my brother, Ethan, 23, sprawled across the couch as if he owned the place. He'd never paid for a thing in his life. They were laughing, really laughing, not the polite chuckles they gave at my jokes during our weekly dinners. "She's so practical," my mother scoffed, rolling the word around her mouth like it was something bitter. "She's actually planning to make us eat her dried turkey on Christmas Eve." Ethan burst out laughing, nearly spilling his wine. "Seriously, she has zero taste. Remember that awful painting she bought for the entryway?" My stomach tightened. That painting had cost me $300, money I'd saved for a new winter coat. Then, my father raised his glass and said, "A toast to Marissa's bonus. Can't wait for our trip to Hawaii." Hawaii? What Hawaii trip? But it was Ethan's next words that stopped my heart. "As long as the workhorse keeps pulling," he said, smirking. The screen blurred as a rush of heat flooded my face. I was transported back to when I was 25, sitting at my old desk, staring at the booking confirmation for a trip to Greece. I'd saved for that trip for over a year, pinching pennies, bringing leftovers for lunch, and taking extra shifts.
My phone rang.
It was my mother. "Marissa," she said, her voice tight with panic. "Ethan wrecked his car, and the insurance won't cover it. We don't know what to do." I looked at the Greece confirmation page. 2 weeks exploring the Greek islands, a dream I'd postponed again and again. "How much do you need?" I heard myself ask. $6,000, she replied. And just like that, my entire Greece fund was gone in a single bank transfer. "You're the only one we can count on, Marissa," she'd said. "What would we do without you?" Back in the present, the video continued. They were discussing their Christmas lists, what they expected from me. A new watch for my father, a designer handbag for my mother, and a high-end gaming setup for Ethan. I looked around my small rental apartment. The worn furniture, the bare walls, the tiny kitchen with outdated appliances. I'd built this cage for myself, brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice. My phone buzzed again. It was a text from my mother. "Don't forget to pick up that nice scotch your father likes for Christmas Eve dinner." I placed the phone face down on the counter. My hands stopped shaking. "This is the end," I whispered to the empty apartment. For 7 years, I'd been the family's ATM, the responsible one, the workhorse. No more. I stood up straight, walked to my laptop, and opened my bank account. There was my annual bonus notification, 6 figures. The money they were already spending in their minds. For the first time in my adult life, I smiled at my bank balance and thought, mine. Not their house payment. Not Ethan's next mistake. Not their vacation. Mine. I took a deep breath and started to make changes. I booked a first-class ticket to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and reserved a suite at a luxury resort. I canceled all the automatic payments for my parents' mortgage, my father's car payment, my mother's spa membership, and Ethan's monthly allowance. I changed all my passwords and enabled two-factor authentication on every account. I also redirected my Christmas Eve catering order to a local fire station. As I packed my suitcase, my father called, furious because his car payment had been declined. "Fix it now,"
He roared.
but I was no longer the person who would scramble to fix their problems. "Must be a bank error. I'm in a meeting. I'll check later," I said flatly and hung up. At the airport, I sipped champagne in the first-class lounge, watching the planes taxi on the tarmac. By nightfall, I was at the resort, surrounded by the majestic Grand Tetons. For the first time in years, I was free. On Christmas Eve, I was in the heated infinity pool when my phone exploded with notifications. I turned it on just to watch. Through the Ring camera app, I saw my family huddled on my apartment landing, confused and angry. My mother rang the doorbell repeatedly, my father pounded on the door, and Ethan paced back and forth. Their carefully constructed world, with me at the center, was falling apart. When their rage turned to bewilderment, I uploaded the original video to our family group chat and sent a text. "Heard you wanted to go to Hawaii. Hope this video is entertaining.
P.S.
All auto payments were stopped 2 weeks ago. Good luck." I watched their faces on the Ring camera as they received the message. My mother's expression changed, my father's face went pale, and Ethan looked guilty. After Christmas, I returned to my apartment and then to work. My boss respected my boundaries without question. I focused on work, slept better, and started thinking about a real home. A few weeks after my return, my Aunt Grace, my mother's sister, ambushed me in the underground garage. "Marissa, your mother is devastated. Your father's car was repossessed, and they might lose the house. Ethan can't afford his rent," she said, trying to guilt-trip me. But I was no longer the person who would cave in. "Thank you for your concern, Aunt Grace. This is a private matter and it's handled," I said calmly and walked away. 3 months later, I met with Marina, the woman who had sent me the video. She'd broken up with Ethan after overhearing my mother say, "Marissa is the easiest one to control." Someone else saw it. Someone else thought it was wrong. I thought. Marina had shown me the truth, and I was grateful. With the extra money in my account, I bought a new house. It was a place where I could finally live for myself. And now, here I am, watching my mother's desperate plea on the gate camera. I tap the dismiss button on the notification, and the feed cuts out. In the silence of my new kitchen, I finish unpacking the wine glasses. The workhorse has broken free, and this is my life now. I'm finally free to live for myself. A few days later, I'm sitting at my desk, looking at the confirmation for my first-class tickets to Greece. The trip I'd canceled 7 years ago. There's no hesitation, no guilt. The journey is finally mine.